At a Thanksgiving dinner, my parents called me a useless failure and kicked me out. Go live in the streets. They had no idea we made $25 million a year. So, I simply smiled and left 3 weeks later. Okay, listen. They say blood is thicker than water, right? But what happens when the people who are supposed to be your safe harbor, your own family, actively try to sink you? What happens when their love comes with a price tag and you realize they're determined to believe the absolute worst version of you, no matter what you achieve? I'm Harper Lane, 32 years old, and believe me, earning $25 million a year doesn't shield you from toxic parents. Money can protect you from a lot: rent, fear, instability, but it's powerless against a family who needs you to be a failure. I learned that lesson the hard way on Thanksgiving night, standing in my parents' dining room in suburban Portland. The air was thick with unspoken judgment, surrounded by people who had already decided exactly who I was and who I wasn't. The house, it looked the same as always. Warm, inviting lights, cinnamon candles, the comforting smell of roasted turkey. But the atmosphere? You could practically slice it with a knife. The long mahogany table was crammed. My grandparents sat at the far end, my aunts were whispering behind their wine glasses, and my cousins were glued to their phones. And then there was Chloe, my younger sister, absolutely glowing at the center of it all, like she was the sun. Everyone else just orbited around her. Her fiancé, Luke, sat right beside her, with that eager smile of a man who'd already absorbed the whole Lane family hierarchy. Chloe, the pride. Me, the problem. Chloe was everything my parents worshipped. A rising star attorney at a fancy downtown Portland firm. Wedding planned for next spring. A closet full of designer coats, and a LinkedIn profile so polished it practically sparkled. My mom couldn't go 10 minutes without slipping in a new brag. Chloe just closed a massive case. Chloe might be promoted to partner early. Chloe and Luke are looking at investment properties. My girl is so smart. Meanwhile, I was relegated to the end of the table, in a chair that wobbled. No one ever seemed to notice the wobble. Maybe that was fitting. Harper, my Aunt Michelle finally chirped, after ignoring me for nearly an hour. Are you still doing that little online thing? She said it like someone talking about a hobby involving glitter and glue. I just smiled politely. Honestly, it wasn't worth explaining that that little online thing employed over 90 people across 3 states, or that one of my companies had just finalized a multi-million-dollar licensing deal. It wouldn't have mattered. They'd already decided my life was just a phase I'd eventually grow out of. I cut into my turkey, praying the evening would just pass quietly. But peace never lasts long in the Lane household, especially when Chloe felt like stirring the pot. It's honestly sad, she announced loudly to Luke, though the entire table could hear her. Harper still refuses to dot full story on the channel. Link below. Click now and watch what happened next.